warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's seminar. My name is Rahmadu Cahyani, and I will be your moderator for this session. Thank you for joining us. Before we begin, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping notes. The first one is there will be 3 presenters who will present their papers, and each presenter will be given the time approximately 20 minutes. The second one will have after all of the presenters have done presenting their papers and present any relevant examples. The last one, the session is being recorded and we will share the replay with you afterward. Now it's time to hear her with us today to share insights on the function of digital media on English language learning motivation among high school students, which will be delivered by Icha Hoirunisa. For Icha Hoirunisa from Group 6, please, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Icha Hoirunisa. I'm from Group 6. So today I will be presenting our group project titled The Function of Digital Media on English Language Learning Motivation among High School Students. This work was done together with my partner, Siti Aisyah, but I will be delivering the presentation today. First, I will begin with the introduction, which includes the background, the research questions, the research methodology, the significance of the study. Next, the literature review, and then I'll go over methodology we use in the study, and finally, I will present the results. Let's start with the introduction. So, digital media has become an important part of English learning for high school students. Tools like YouTube, Duolingo, and Instagram make learning more interesting and fun. This platform helps students stay engaged and motivated. Since motivation plays a key role in learning process, learning success, this study aims to find out how digital media affect students' motivation to learn English. Digital media is now a big part of how students learn English, especially in high school. Tools like YouTube, Duolingo, and even Instagram help make learning more fun and interesting. Since motivation is really important in learning, we wanted to explore how these digital tools affect students' motivation to learn English. And that's why this study was conducted to better understand the connection between digital media and student motivation. Let's move on to the research questions. So based on background, there are the questions we try to answer in the study. First, how do students experience the use of digital media in learning English? Second, how does digital media affect their intrinsic and extrinsic motivation? And third, what are their perceptions about how digital media support their interest and engagement in learning English? These questions help guide the direction of our research and gave us a clearer focus on what we really wanted to find out. Move to the research objective. So based on those questions, we came up with 3 main objectives. The first is to explore students' experiences in using digital media during the English learning process, and then to understand how the use of digital media affects students' intrinsic and extrinsic motivation in learning English, and then to uncover students' perception of the effectiveness of digital media in increasing their motivation and engagement in English learning. This objective helped us stay focused during the research, especially when collecting and analyzing the data. Let's move to the significance of the study. So the study is important both theoretically and practically. From a theoretical point of view, it helps enrich the literature about motivation in English learning, so especially in the context of digital media use. It shows how platforms like apps and videos can influence students' interests and improvement. And practically, this research can help teacher create more engaging lesson using digital tools and guide curriculum designer in choosing media that better support students. It also gives ideas to future researchers who want to explore motivation in text-based learning. So in short, this study gives a real examples, useful insight, and open up opportunities for further development in education. Let's move to the literature review. The first, I'm going to talk about digital media for language learning. Digital media, including educational videos, language learning apps, online platforms, social media, and educational games, play a key role in making English learning more interactive, flexible, and enjoyable. It caters to different learning styles, encourages independent study, and increases students' motivation through engaging and authentic content. While digital media offers many benefits, it also brings challenges such as distraction from non-academic content, over-reliance on technology, unequal access among students, and also the need to evaluate the credibility of online material. So while digital media is super helpful, it still needs to be used wisely. And then let's talk about motivation in English language learning. So motivation is the key to successful language learning. It includes intrinsic motivation, learning for personal interest or enjoyment, and then extrinsic motivation, learning for rewards like grades or career goals. This align with self-determination theory. Uh, Motivation grows when students feel autonomous, competent, and connected. Educators can support motivation by offering choices, giving meaningful tasks, and also providing positive feedback. Let's move. Next one is self-determination theory, or SDT, developed by Edward L. Deci and Richard M. Ryan. So the theory asserts that individuals are naturally inclined toward growth, learning, and mastery, but their motivation can be enhanced or undermined depending on the social and contextual factors in their environment. Motivation increases when three needs are met. The first is autonomy, relatedness, and then competence. Let's connect that to the ARCS model, which is often used in instructional design. So ARCS stands for attention, capturing the learner's interest, and then relevance, making the material meaningful, and then confidence, helping learners believe that they can succeed, and then satisfaction, giving them a sense of accomplishment. Both SDT and ARCS show how important it is to create a learning environment that supports motivation internally and externally. And then we move to the impact between digital media and learning motivation. So digital media can be influenced both positively and negatively depending on how digital tools are implemented. Digital media enhances students' motivation by making learning more engaging, interactive, and enjoyable through educational videos, quizzes, apps, and gamified platforms that supports various learning styles and promote autonomous learning. Instant feedback, progress tracking, and also recognition features further motivate students. This aligns with a study by ANWAS. However, challenges such as distraction of reliance on technology, reduced face-to-face interaction, and also digital inequality can negatively affect motivation. So the impact really depends on how media is used. With the right balance, it can be a powerful way to support learning. And then we move to the methodology. So in this study, we used a qualitative phenomenological design. That means we focus on understanding students' experiences and perception. We wanted to hear their own stories about using digital media in learning English. We didn't focus on number or statistics, but more in-depth description of what students felt, thought, and also experienced. This helped us get a deeper understanding of how digital media actually influence their motivation. The participants of this study were high school students who actively use digital tools like apps, YouTube, or social media to learn English. We selected them using purposive sampling, which means we choose those who had real and relevant experience. Next, please. For the data collection, we use semi-structured interviews, either online or face-to-face. The questions were open-ended, so students could really share their experience. And after that, we used thematic analysis to understand the patterns. We started by coding the transcript, then grouped similar responses into them. This way, we could clearly see what motivated students, what tool they used, and how they felt about using digital media. So in the end, we presented the findings descriptively and supported them with quotes to show the real examples from the students themselves. Next, please. Okay, this is the result of our study motivation in English language learning through their experiences and perceptions. Findings show how digital tools like educational videos, gamified apps, and social media enhance motivation through both intrinsic and extrinsic factors. Intrinsically, digital media supports autonomy and competence, while extrinsically it offers rewards and also recognition. However, challenges such as distraction, of reliance, and unequal access can hinder learning. And then extrinsic motivators might also reduce genuine interest if not paired with meaningful goals. It can be concluded that digital media can enhance motivation when we use purposefully, supported by discipline, context, and proper guidance. I think that's all. Thank you for your listening. I hope this presentation gave you a clear overview of how digital media affect students' motivation in learning English. Okay, thank you. I'll return back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Icha, for your great presentation. And next, I will hand the session over to the second speaker. Please welcome Nur Hasana from Group 7. The paper is titled Innovative Approaches to Teaching Reading, Engaging Learners Through Role Playing. As a reminder, you will be given 15 minutes to do the presentation. The 15 minutes will begin the moment you first speak. For Nur Hasana, the time is yours. Okay, thank you to moderator who have given me opportunity to speak now. So my name is Nur Hasana with my partner Nazwa Aiska Rahma. So today I will present our research project. The title is Engaging Young Learners in Reading Through Role-Playing Technique.
First, we talk to the introduction. Engaging young learners in perusing could be a pivotal challenge in early interaction, as cultivating both comprehension and inspiration can essentially affect their proficiency improvement. Role playing permits children to effectively decipher and encapsulate character, advancing more profound understanding and maintenance of the content. By dramatizing stories, youthful learners not as it were improve their perusing comprehension, but moreover create communication abilities, create creative ability and collaboration capacities. This strategy bolsters a more personalized and lively learning environment, making perusing lesson an important for children. Inquired about has appeared that role play as an educating method increments engagement, inspiration, and the successful utilization of phrasing methodologies, eventually progressing perusing capability among youthful learners. It is according to Baki 2021 and Klein 2024. So the next we have three. Next slide. We have three research questions. The number one is, to what extent does the integration of role-playing techniques enhance not only student engagement but also sustains interest in reading among young learners? So the number two is, how do role-playing techniques specifically support the development of inferential and critical reading comprehension skills in young learners beyond literal understanding? So the last research question is, what pedagogical tensions arise when implementing role-playing in reading instruction, and how do teachers negotiate between curriculum demand and the creative freedom role-play requires? So we next to the research methodology. Next slide, please. Yes, this study adopts a qualitative research design using a case study approach. This method allowed the researcher to capture rich descriptive data about the experience, behaviors, and perception of teachers involved in the implementation of role-playing strategies. The data collection taken from a teacher who have been interviewed with the researchers. So next, it's about objective and significant study. The study aims to explore and evaluate the use of role-playing as an instructional strategy in teaching reading to young learners in early elementary education, specifically students in grade 2. So this study holds significance for multiple stakeholders in the field of education, particularly those involved in early childhood and elementary literacy. So we move to literature review. Role-playing techniques, which involve dramatizing stories and embodying character, align with broader finding that active engagement methods significantly improve reading motivation and comprehension among young learners. For instance, extensive reading programs that allow learner autonomy in selecting material have been shown to increase motivation and foster a positive reading culture, which is crucial for sustained literacy development. It is Zainal 2023 site. So the next similarly blend learning approaches that incorporate interactive and gamified elements have demonstrated effectiveness in improving reading comprehension and language proficiency in primary education. It is Rahman 2000, 2025. So next slide, it is still literature review. Uh, the point, the importance of reading skill in children. As we know, stage of reading development according to stages of reading development. Uh, there are four. There are yes, first stage, but it is began from stage 0. It's called pre-reading. It is age from 0 until 6. Awareness of print and sound. The stage 1. It's called decoding. It is 6 until 7 age. It is learning letters and correspondence. So the next stage 2, it's called fluency. Uh, the age from 7 until 8, becoming fluent readers and beginning comprehension. And the stage 3, it and beyond, reading to learn, expanding vocabulary and analytical thinking. So here, factor influencing reading interest and comprehension. Number one, we have motivation and interest in reading materials. Number two, home literacy environment and parental support. Number three is instructional strategies used in the classroom. And the last, socio-emotional engagement with text. So in the next point of literature review, we have role-playing in language learning. Role-playing is a teaching strategy where students assume role, act, or skin scene, or simulate real-life situation in order to practice language use and understand content more deeply. Role-playing has been shown to first encourage student motivation and reduce classroom boredom. So the second, encourage active language production in meaningful context. And the third is enhance text interpretation and comprehension through visualization. And number four is strengthen memory retention through performance and repetition. So for young learners, these benefits are particularly significant because they often respond more positively to play-based, imaginative, and social activities to, than to passive learning mode. So next, we have research finding. The role-playing method in learning to read is proven to have a positive impact on student emotional and social engagement and development. Based on interview, teachers stated that students feel happy, confident, and more active in understanding reading through text through the role played. This activity not only increases students' interest in reading, but also build communication skill, cohesiveness in working together, and a sense of responsibility for the role given. So strategies such as motivating students, assigning appropriate role, and providing guidance were used to prepare students. Despite facing challenges such as time and space constraint, teachers still find this method effective and consider using it in the future due to its significant impact on learning. So, in last section we have next slide. Yes. And last we have conclusion. So the conclusion is role playing serves as an engaging method for teaching reading to learners. It improves reading understanding while promoting social, emotional, and communication abilities. Role playing fosters a deeper understanding, motivation, confidence, and collaboration by engaging students in character-driven scenarios. In line with constructivist and socio-cultural learning theories, this approach promotes multisensory learning and the shift from decoding to understanding. Although it demands additional preparation, its lasting effective approach for teaching early literacy. Okay, that's all from group 7. Thank you very much for your listening and pay attention. And I will giving.
Okay, thank you Nur Hasana for your amazing presentation. Now we move to the last speaker. Please welcome Cecil Luciana from Group 8. The paper is about students' perception towards lecturers' feedback on morphology and syntax scores. To remind you, you will be given 15 minutes to do the presentation, and the 15 minutes will begin the moment you first speak. For Cecil Luciana, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator, for giving me the opportunity to explain about student perception towards lecturer feedbacks on morphology and syntax course. Uh, this this project is conducted to people, but here I will explain by myself. My name is Susilisiana and my partner is Rahmadwi Cahyani. Next. Okay, next is the background. In the area of increasing rapid technology development that has entered the 5.0 era, without realizing it, development continues to grow over time, including the world of education. The use of feedback is one of the technological development as a way to improve learning in the classroom. Feedback itself is an integral component in the learning process that aims to provide corrective information to students regarding their performance during class learning activities. Feedback can also be described as information provided by agents such as teacher, student, peer group, parents, self, or experience about aspects of one's performance or understanding. It's according by John Hattie and Helen Tim 2007. And the feedback, secondly, needs to provide specific information related to the task or learning process to fill the gap between what is understood and what is to be understood. This according by Sadler, 1989. Next. Okay, the next point is about research question. In this article, we have three research questions. The first question is, what do students do before receiving feedback or free feedback in classroom learning? And the second point is, how do students respond during the use of a teacher feedback in the learning? And the last point is about what impression of or reaction do students have after using feedback or post feedback? Next. And the next point is about research objective. There are 3 points. The first is to identify student action in preparing for learning before receiving teacher feedback. The second is to explore students' perception and experiences during the use of teacher feedback in the classroom. And the last is to examine students' emotional and cognitive impression after using teacher feedback to support learning. Next. The next point is about literature review. In this article, we use 3 points for literature review. The first point is about feedback in learning process. Feedback has long been recognized as a central element in the teaching and learning process. According to Hattie and Temperley 2007, feedback is defined as the information provided to learners about their performance intended to reduce the gap between their current understanding and desired learning outcomes. It serves as both a motivational and instructional tool, enabling learners to reflect, adjust, and improve their learning strategies. Within the domain of second language acquisition, particularly in speaking and writing, feedback does not only assess student competencies but also support the development of linguistic and metacognitive skill. And the second point is about teacher types and approaches feedback. A teacher feedback encompasses various modes such as oral, written, asynchronous, asynchronous, formative, and summative. It may be delivered as direct correction, metalinguistic clues, promotes a suggestion or evaluative comments. The effectiveness of these feedback types often depends on how and when they are implemented, as well as how students interpret and respond to them. According to the Mayor Demo 2022, it conducted a quasi-experimental study in online learning context and found that allowing students to revise and resubmit assignment based on initial feedback significantly enhanced both emotional and cognitive engagement with the learning material. The opportunity to act on the feedback empowers students to take responsibility for their learning and view feedback as a valuable resource rather than as a judgment ability. And the last point for literature review is about student reaction to feedback. The way students respond to feedback is a complex phenomenon shaped by combination of emotional, cognitive, and contextual factors. Students' responses are largely influenced by their perception of feedback's clarity, usefulness, tone, and timing. Researchers have shown that when feedback is perceived as relevant and helpful, students are more likely to engage with it meaningful. By Lipnich 2020. Emotional engagement plays a key role in shaping student reaction to feedback. Mayordomo found that feedback perceived a mostly positive trigger activating emotions such as a pride, optimism, and motivation. This emotion foster higher level of cognitive engagement, including greater effort to understand the feedback, connect it with prior knowledge, and use it for improvement. One, on the other hand, feedback that students interpreted as negative or overly critical tended to elicit anxiety, confusion, frustration, and even withdrawal, particularly in online setting where immediate clarification from the teacher may not be possible. Okay, next. The next point is about methodology. The first one is about research design. This study employ a qualitative descriptive research design. It focuses on understanding student subjective responses, action, and perception regarding teacher feedback in natural learning context. The design is suitable for exploring individual experience in depth and capturing nuance difference in response across stage pre-feedback, during feedback, and post-feedback. And for the participant, this project conducted for 35 for fourth semester students enrolled in English education program at Universitas Sultan Agung-Tirtayasa. All participants had previously taken morphology and syntax courses in which teacher feedback was implemented as part of the instructional process. And next. The next is about data collection methods. The data were collected through a questionnaire that included 12 questions divided into scale question and open-ended question. Next. The next is about data analysis. The data analysis were analyzed using qualitative content analysis, categorized into three main themes. The first is pre-feedback. It's mean action taken by student before feedback, and then the second is about during feedback. It's mean evaluation of feedback, usefulness in meeting student classroom needs, alignment with student with learning materials, clarity of material description, and impact on future preparation. And the last is about post feedback. It's mean that students' emotional impression such as satisfaction, anxiety, indifference, or increased readiness after receiving and applying feedback. Next. The next point is about result and discussion. There are 3 points for the result. The first is about pre-feedback. In this pre-feedback, we can see from the diagram, it's known that students tend to look for learning resources through libraries or the internet in finding learning resources for classroom learning. From the diagram, we can also know that students before the feedback they like to ask their seniors about the learning that will be learned in the class later. The diagram also show that the number of occurrences in the same between asking lecturers and combining the use of online media and friends in finding learning resources. Next. Next is about result in feedback. There are 5 points, so I will explain one by one. The first point is about feedback meeting student needs. From the diagram, it can be seen that almost all students feel helped by use of feedback in class. In this case, feedback helps students in fulfilling students' needs, such as providing material that suits student abilities in class, helping to evaluate student abilities, and helping teachers adjust learning materials in class, such as a system of teaching material in the class, and helping to create a conducive classroom atmosphere in learning. And next. And the second point is about learning material. From the diagram, it can be seen that almost all students answer yes to the suitability of the material provided, and the rise of the number of respondents can be seen that they answer no because they didn't get suitability of material provided. Next. The next point is about material depiction. From the diagram, it can be seen that students tend to answer the feedback helps them in describing material for the later classroom learning. Students find it's helpful for describing the material because students can find out the upcoming learning material in class. Students feel helped because this feedback reduces confusion about the material to be learned, so that they will prepare the material to be learned before class starts. Next. The fourth is about preparation for learning process. From the diagram, we can see the impact provided from the description of the material tends to have positive impact on the student in a class. This positive impact is like student getting a description of the material that will be learned in the class later to avoid confusion about the material being studied. Another positive impact in the use of feedback is also help student find basic material before learning in class begin, with this making it easy for them to understand the material being taught. Next. And then the last point is in the feedback is a preparation for future learning. From the diagram, we can see that occurrences rate of the material preparation is higher than mental preparation, which students choose an answer regarding what they prepare for upcoming learning. Next. And then the previous slide. The pen for post feedback, it's like the diagram. We can see that impression given by feedback on student is normal, or student will not bother because students tend to follow what will happen later. For them, things like this are not new to them, therefore they don't want to be bothered and ordinary about the impact of this feedback. Next. And then it is about the conclusion of our material. It can be concluded from the result and discussion that looking for material or learning resources to be taught in online platforms or libraries is dominant action taken by student before feedback use. When using feedback, students get many benefits. There are five benefits that students get when using feedback in learning. The first is student needs in class. The second is suitable of learning materials. The second is decision of material. The fourth is impact of decepting material, and the last is preparation for future learning. After using feedback, students also respond in form of impression what they feel after using feedback as one of the media to improve learning in the classroom. Based on the result of the study, the impression given by students tend to be positive rather than negative after using feedback. Maybe it's all for me. I return back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Susie Luciana, for your insightful presentation. Now we have some time for questions and answer session from the audience. If you have any question, please raise your hand and please also state your name and group before asking your question. Anyone else? Okay, Siti Aisyah, please.
Okay, I want to ask for group 7, how does role-playing support the development of reading skills in young learners?
Okay, thank you, Siti Aisyah, for your question. For group 7, Hasanah, please, time is yours.
Thank you to Sitaisa who have give group 7 some question. It is a good question. So I will answer it. Role-playing support young learners' reading development by enhancing comprehension through active engagement with text. It allows students to embody character, which deepens understanding, boosts motivation, and builds confidence. Additionally, it fosters social, emotional, and communication skills, alike with constructive and socio-cultural learning theories. Role-playing encourage multisensory learning and help shift learners from merely decoding words to fully understanding content. Despite requiring more preparation, its long-term benefits make it valuable strategy for teaching early literacy. So that's the answer for your question. How?
Enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for Siti Aisyah for your question and for Nur Hasanah for the answer. And the next question, please. Raise your hand. Okay, Nazwa Aiska, please.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Najwa Iska Rahma, and I'm from Group 7. In this time, I will ask about. I will ask for Group 6. My question is, if digital media can both enhance and distract from learning, how can we ensure that students stay intrinsically motivated rather than just chasing rewards or getting distracted? Maybe that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nazwa, for your question. For group 6, Icha Hoirunisa, please time is yours.
Okay, thank you for your great questions, Najwa. So the key is in how digital media is used. So teacher and students need to set meaningful learning goals and also choose tools that support autonomy and competence, like apps that let students learn at their own pace with feedback, and also minimizing non-educational distraction and encouraging reflection on personal progress can help keep the motivation intrinsic. That's the answer.
Okay. Thank you, Icha, for the answer. Maybe enough, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Nazwa for your question and thank you Icha for your answer. Now we have come to the end of our seminar. I hope you have enjoyed this session and gained some valuable insights and knowledge from our speakers. Before we close this session, let me briefly summarize the main points and takeaways from our speakers. The first speaker, Icha Hairinisa, shared to us that digital media can boost students' motivation in learning English by supporting autonomy and offering rewards. Tools like videos, apps, and social media enhance both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. However, issues such as distractions, overdependence, and unequal access can hinder its effectiveness. And the second speaker, Nur Hasana, highlighted that the role playing is a dynamic and effective strategy for teaching to young children. It enhances reading comprehension while also developing social, emotional, and communication skills. Involving students in character-based scenarios, role-playing can increase understanding, motivation, confidence, and teamwork. And the third and the last speaker, Susi Luciana, explained to us that after using feedback, students experience several benefits including better alignment of materials with classroom needs, improved relevance to the and clarity of content, and more effective preparation for future lessons. Feedback also helps students organize material more easily, leading to positive impacts on their learning process and we also manage notes. Okay. Finally, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. I hope you have learned something new and useful from this seminar. Thank you very much for your great attention. Have a great day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam
wabarakatuh.
warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.